At just 26 square miles, Cannock Chase, located in Staffordshire in the West Midlands, is known for being England's smallest national landscape, also known as an area of outstanding natural beauty. And during the day, you'd be forgiven for thinking there's nothing particularly special about the area, apart from its idyllic scenery and rustic charm of course, but at night it reveals a much darker side, steeped in sinister history and mysterious mythology. And when I say there's a lot going on here, I really mean it. There's an entire menagerie of monsters associated with Cannock Chase, from black-eyed children to big cats, ghostly hitchhikers to UFO abductions, werewolf to hellhounds, and even a resident Pigman too. Cannock Chase really does have it all. But is there any truth to these legends? Are these entities visiting the area through some sort of dark portal, as some would have you believe? Or are they all just figments of one man's twisted imagination? In this video, we'll be delving deeper into the strange history of Cannock Chase and uncovering what might be happening within its dense woodland and lonely heath. So sit back, relax, grab your favourite drink, and let's get on with the show. Okay guys, before we get going, I think it's important to point out that we're going to see one particular name keep coming up throughout this video, and that name is Lee Brickley. To some, he's become known as the chronicler of the chase, someone who's dedicated his life to gathering first-hand accounts of all the strange and unexpected events around Cannock Chase. But to others who have pointed out that he has benefited from his guided tours and numerous books he has on the subject, he's seen more as somewhat of a charlatan, a storyteller who may just have embellished the odd story or two for his own personal gain. I'll leave that decision up to you, but I definitely thought it was worth mentioning at least. Anyway, enough about that. Let's get things started with the area that's got the most going on, and that is the Castle Ring. Standing at 801 feet above sea level, Castle Ring is the highest point on Cannock Chase and the perfect place to start our investigation. Today is a peaceful spot surrounded by dense woodland and scenic views, but over 2,000 years ago, this was a fortified Iron Age hill fort, home to the ancient Celtic tribe known as the Cornovii. The earthworks that you can still see today once formed defensive ramparts enclosing a small settlement where warriors, farmers and their families lived their entire lives on the windswept hilltop. Archaeological digs have uncovered fragments of pottery, tools and even evidence of roundhouses, but nobody knows quite why the area was abandoned. But legend suggests that something dark has always lived here. Over the centuries, visitors have reported seeing strange lights flickering across the trees, disembodied whispers and shadowy figures standing amongst the earthworks. Figures that vanish the moment they're approached. But perhaps the most chilling stories to emerge from the Castle Ring are the sightings of what many have described as black-eyed children. Pale, ghostly figures of young children said to appear without warning, their eyes completely black and their presence accompanied by an overwhelming feeling of dread. Most of what we know about these entities has come from Lee Brickley, a local author and paranormal investigator whose family has lived in the area for generations. Brickley has spent years documenting Cannock Chase's strangest reports, from spectral children to UFOs, werewolves and even a so-called Pigman said to be lurking deep within its forest. In his investigations, Brickley often connects these accounts through a common thread, a feeling that the chase itself is somehow alive, drawing energy from the tragedies and fear that have taken place over the centuries. But when it comes to the black-eyed children, some people do believe that their presence is tied to a much darker chapter in local history. The A34 murders of the 1960s, which were committed by Raymond Leslie Morris, whose atrocious actions have left deep scars within the community. Many speculate that the trauma of those events has somehow embedded itself into the land, manifesting as these ghostly apparitions, echoes of lost innocence that refuse to fade. Whether or not you believe these stories are supernatural in nature or psychological in origin, there's definitely no denying that there's a very uneasy energy associated with the Castle Ring. Okay, so let's move on to our next spooky stop, and standing proudly atop one of the highest points on Cannock Chase is Pigman Tower, a 191-foot tall communications mast that can be seen for miles around. Built in the 1960s, it serves as a microwave relay tower for the telecommunications network, a stark reminder of modern engineering rising out of the ancient landscape. But for the locals, the towering landmark is known for something far stranger than its concrete and steel. They speak in hushed tones of the Pigman of Cannock Chase, a grotesque figure that's said to haunt the surrounding woodland. Descriptions vary. Some say he's a half-man, half-boar creature with bristled skin and glaring eyes. Others insist he's a disfigured hermit who lurks by the tower at night, drawn in by the low hum of the electronics. The legend is believed to have originated in the 40s or 50s, when local children dared each other to climb the wooded slope near Pigmen at night. According to one account, a local girl fled home in tears, claiming she'd been chased by a man with a pig's face. And over time, that story snowballed. Some blamed wartime experiments going wrong, others whispered of occult rituals performed in the woods, and a few even tied the tale to nearby abandoned air raid shelters. Modern researcher 𝕬𝖆𝖊𝖏 has revisited the Pigman legend in his investigations, linking it to the same patchwork of paranormal that makes Cannock Chase one of Britain's most haunted locations. Whether the Pigman is an urban myth, misidentified animal, or something altogether darker, few can deny that the area around the Pigman Tower feels unsettling once the sun goes down. Okay, so it's time for the last stop on our supernatural adventure, and hidden deep within the forest, down a long, winding path lined with pines, lies one of the most unexpected and haunting sights of Cannock Chase, the German War Cemetery. It's a place of quiet reflection where over 5,000 German soldiers from both world wars are buried. Many of them were airmen shot down over Britain, prisoners of war who never made it home, or sailors recovered from the North Sea and Channel coastlines. The cemetery was established in the 1960s when the Commonwealth War Graves Commission decided that all German remains should be moved to a single site, a neutral resting ground away from politics and surrounded by nature. Rows of dark stone crosses line in perfect symmetry, each marking lives lost far from home. But while the site represents reconciliation and remembrance by day, by night it takes on a very different tone. Visitors and paranormal investigators have reported hearing voices whispered in German, footsteps echoing between stone, and strange flashes of light that flicker between the trees before vanishing without a trace. Some claim to have seen shadowy figures standing slightly between the crosses, often described as men in early 20th century uniforms or lone soldiers staring out into the woods. Others speak of a thick, unnatural fog that drifts in without warning, lingering only around the burial grounds before fading away as suddenly as it appeared. Researcher 𝕬𝖆𝖏𝗏 notes that the proximity to the castle ring and Pigman Tower may not be a coincidence. The energy of the chase seems to ripple through the landscape, ancient history, wartime death and myth all overlapping in one small but powerful area. Whether those who wander here are witnessing the restless spirits of the fallen or simply feeling the weight of history press down on this quiet place, one thing is for certain: few places in Cannock Chase feel more solemn, more charged with mystery than the German War Cemetery. Although we've only explored a few of Cannock Chase's most infamous sites, these woods hold far more than we've had time to cover. Scattered across its 26 miles are lonely ruins, forgotten burial sites, and things best left undisturbed. The truth is, there's just too many mysteries for one film alone, but don't worry, because in part 2 we'll be heading deep into Cannock Chase itself on Halloween night, armed with cameras and paranormal equipment to find out what we're able to see firsthand. So join me next time, if you dare, as we step deep into the darkness and try to find out what really waits within the shadows of Cannock Chase.